I'm going to change the pen weight as per the instructions to 0.7, so it's a fair bit darker. All right, so select on your selection tool and hop out of that, and you'll see that you've built your first site boundary. Well done. Save your drawing. Okay. Now we're going to go to step 4, which is add the pavement. So to do this, we want to be on our pavement layer. So let's go and double click on it in our navigation palette. So now we're on our pavement layer. Now we can still access our site boundary, which might be a problem when we're doing drawings. We may end up stuffing this up a little bit. So let's make that not happen. Not by turning it off, which is this one here, where it disappears, but by turning it onto the grey eyeball. Now that means I can still see it, but I can't mess this up. I can't touch it now because I'm on the pavement layer. That's my activated layer. So we're in a good stead to start our pavement rectangle. To do this, we're going to use the line tool. So go up and click on your line tool. When the top right comes up, click on it. And you'll see if you just drag your mouse anywhere, you're starting to draw a line. Now to make sure that it's actually vertical, it says it's going along the line. You could also hold your shift key down and it shows object/vertical that you're following along a vertical trajectory. So there's a couple of ways of making sure it's vertical. But because we're following the site boundary, Vectorworks is smart enough to know we want to go vertically. All right. You can see now your white floating bars popped up and it's got an L and an A. The A is the angle and the L is the length. We want a length of 2000 millimeters. So when you type in 2000, immediately you'll see the guide come up and it tells you that you can draw this line 2000 millimeters long anywhere you like, but I want it to be here. So click, we're good. We have our first line. Now, what we want to do is draw our pavement rectangle. It starts 2000 millimeters off the boundary. So let's click on the endpoint of that and it's 5000 millimeters long. So let's drag it across. It says it's horizontal, so that's perfect. Type in 5000, enter. Again, the circle comes up. We could actually draw it anywhere you like. Enter. There's our line. Do it again to go down, click on the endpoint. This time it needs to be 2000. Enter. Again, the circle comes up. Enter. Again, endpoint. Click back. We're heading horizontally back to the site boundary. It comes up with 5000. Press enter. And again, let's connect this dot endpoint to that endpoint. Now we have our 4 lines. So you can see the 4 lines. There's 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. We've got 4 lines. I'm just going to save. Okay. Now, I'll just get to the next set of instructions. We're going to dimension our rectangle. So to do that, we're going to use our constrained linear dimension tool again. We'll start at the endpoint of this one and we'll dimension the 2000 going down. And then we'll dimension from this endpoint to that endpoint, 2000 going down. And then I want to show you what happens when you dimension something and you use the endpoints of the object. So let's do it with the 5000. If I click on the endpoint of that and the endpoint of that and drag it to say there, for instance, it shows up as 5000, which is cool. But if I would like to use my selection tool and then move this up, watch what happens on the left of my rectangle to the line. See how it extends? It's gone up with it. Dimensions are actually attached, unfortunately, to your objects. So that sucks. So to get around it, what we're going to do is get rid of that, edit, undo. And I am just going to draw my dimension 5000 across, type in 5000, enter. and then enter. Whoop, make sure it's horizontal, good, and drag it up. Now it's not attached to my line and I can move that and it's not going to fiddle with anything. I'm going to save. Cool. All right. Now that we've drawn our dimensions, we're going to add our millimeters to it because it really we should have them. So let's do that for this particular layer. Now, if I go to my selection tool, click on 5000, hold down the shift key and click on my other 2000 dimensions and let go. I've clicked all of them. They're all highlighted orange. So the thing I do next will apply to all of them. And what I'm going to do next is show you the object info. So this is a really cool palette. It gives you all the information you need to know and can amend about your dimensions in this case. So we know it's on the layer pavement. We know that it is using the arch standard dimensions. This obviously can be changed. The rotation of the text is aligned with the dimension itself. You can change that quite easily to horizontal, as you can see, so they're all reading the same way. Horizontal, vertical, which is what it is, all back to aligned. So there's little things that you can play with. The thing I'm interested at the moment is adding the millimeters, and that's referred to as a trailer. It's down here. The leader, if you were to type something in the leader, let's do it, you'll see that it pops up before the number in the dimension. Trailer obviously trails behind. So let's type in millimeters and press enter. And you'll see that all my dimensions now have millimeters, a unit of measurement on it, which is cool for this layer. Okay. Now, the other thing you might notice, since we've drawn this rectangle out of lines, is that there's no opportunity to fill it because they're all simply 4 individual lines. So what we want to do is turn that into an object that is one object with a fill in the middle of it. So to do that, we're just going to delete this line because we don't need it anymore. It will take away the dimension because it's attached to it, as you'll remember. So let's just do that. Now we want to make sure that this is something that we can use quite well with our fills and stuff. To do that, we're going to use the compose tool, and the compose tool converts lines into one shape. So if you could have arcs, you could have lines, you could have them all linked up together, but they're all individual lines and they don't create the ability to fill them. So we use the compose tool to treat these lines or trick these lines into becoming one object, one shape. So let's do it. So we're going to highlight all of our lines. So hold the shift key down, click on all of them, and you can let go. Now the compose tool is simply modify, compose, and there you have it. You have a rectangle with the ability to fill it. Modify, compose, it's really cool. Now, the next step, step 8, is to apply a fill attribute to this shape, okay, to this object. So what we need to do is make sure we use our white arrow, our selection tool, and select on it, and go back to our attributes. Now we have choices.